Hey everyone. We're going to cast a new series today by a player named Morris, who is a relatively new player to the game. So I thought it might be interesting to see this perspective because the last couple of people we've casted, Basil and Clouded, are pretty experienced, I guess, relatively speaking. So it might be neat to see somebody who isn't me, but also who isn't like an expert or anything, take a crack at the game. So, like most beginners, I think. Let's see what it does here. He's likely to go. I'm pretty sure he picked one of the high elves. Yep. Fingolfin, always a good first choice. So this is a pretty standard stat distribution. I think one of our tutorial characters in 1.1.1 had this exact distribution. I usually hate allocating skills here because, I don't know, it's just annoying. I prefer to do it at the game start, but these are pretty inarguable stat choices so far, or skill choices, sorry, so. And it looks like he's going to leave some in the tank to, who knows why. Let's find out. I don't really know much about this game. I saw, oh yeah, and I have to apologize. It was recorded in 256 colors, which the terminal emulation I'm using doesn't like. So we're gonna, I think the only colors we get are black and yellow, and white, of course, or like this weird steely gray. It's got kind of a nice black metal tinge to it. So yeah, I'm trying to, let's see what he does with this pooled experience. But as I was saying, I saw the latter parts of the game, but I don't really know much about how the beginning goes. Or if I saw it, I don't remember. I think sometimes a character comes through the emulation that halts playback. I don't know why. Every once in a while it just stops playing. So this is interesting. It's rare to see somebody start the game without buying. He may be confused as to what to buy, which is totally legit. It's totally fine in the early game just to not buy anything and just put all your points into actual skill points, because there's not much you need to worry about. So it looks like he's going for keen senses, which is, yes, or maybe he's just buying perception for fun. Oh, right. I forgot, this is MPA Sil. So Lore Keeper actually does something useful. I think in previous versions you saw Lore Keeper did something like really OP. It was like, it identified all consumables or something, which is awesome. It got changed again in MPA Sil, not in normal Sil. So that now it tells you if items are good or bad. I think in normal Sil it just tells you if items are cursed or not. But I think this tainted thing that MPA Sil has, basically for every item, it assigns whether it's good or bad. So like if you have a poison potion or something, it'll say tainted next to it. So you'll know it's bad, and you shouldn't drink ID it if you're in trouble. But it doesn't tell you what it is, which is pretty cute actually. And it's kind of like how pseudo ID works in normal Langband. When you pick up an item, certain classes can just like hold onto it for a while, and it'll tell you whether it's good, excellent, whatever. It won't do it with consumables usually, but it's a similar idea. So I think he's probably trying to plan out his game here. This might be a little awkward for a little while. But he took Finesse. Finesse, kind of useful in the early game. I often take it, but I'm starting to play more often now with just buying points. Because until your melee gets relatively high to the point where you're doing like multiple criticals and stuff, I don't find Finesse to be super impactful. Power is actually pretty good in the early game because you never need to worry about it helping. Like Finesse only helps if you get an extra crit from it. Power always helps. Unfortunately, the stuff that derives from power in the melee tree is pretty terrible. So I think he's probably trying to plan out his game here. This might be a little awkward for a little while. But he took Finesse. So he has enough for one more. I didn't see what he bought in evasion because I was too busy babbling, but. Yeah, it's a pretty good idea. Good. Okay. Now we can play. I always like seeing how different players play roguelikes in general. Like this, if you're coming into a new game or a game that you haven't played much, you're using some sort of like play style that you picked up elsewhere. And this, he seems to like to move like very deliberately. Like there's a pace, but it's a slow pace. I wonder if he knows about auto run too. Okay, so he's getting some mileage out of finesse maybe here. This in MPA Sil, I think everybody gets a 4-pound curve sword right off the bat. So it's not like you can hope to get a lighter one. It's another MPA Sil convenience you won't get in normal Sil. Kind of handholds you if you're about to walk into a mold. And I think there's an achievement we haven't seen yet. We need to see somebody try to finish the game with a quarterstaff. I don't think I've ever seen a character dump where somebody had one of those held. I used to pick them up on archers and just hold on to them because they have a good evasion score. So it was like having a little, like a, I don't know, a +2 cloak in your hands. But I also think you need 2 hands to wield that thing, so once you get a shield, it's sort of useless. Yeah, he may not realize that those molds can't really hit that hard. He could have just sucked it up and walked past it. So a good thing to do in that case where those things are shouting is to close the doors behind you. It will come and open them up again, but all of its shouts that happen in the interim are going to be muted by the closed door. Alright, so he's already seen a lot of guys around, so elf or no elf being surrounded in the early game, like in the super early game, is usually not great. He picked up some armor, so that's okay. But wow, that's a nice bow. Excellent. Yeah, I don't know what wielding those gloves gets you other than warm hands. Actually, you know, there was a... I think I said this in a recent cast, like one of the the Smith casts that I did recently. I think Basil was wearing like a pair of vanilla gloves on his hands and keeping his forge gloves in his inventory. And I said it'd be better to wear them because if you're wearing them, they'll take acid damage, but if they're in your inventory and they get hit by acid, they'll explode. And I'm pretty sure that was wrong because if your piece of equipment doesn't have any bonuses on it at all, like I think if the gloves get hit by acid and they're on your hands, they may just explode. I don't know. Because there's no protection dice or evasion score on them at all. It could be that you just end up with a -1 pair of gloves. I'd like to try that, actually. I should try that one day. But that may have been why he was doing that. I don't know, actually, it doesn't really make sense even with that argument, but... Yeah, so if you have the strength to pick up those spears, I would just pick them up. Yeah, because they're worth throwing. I think he has some arrows now. I wasn't really super paying attention, but the bow, he didn't pick up that +1 short bow. Weird. Yeah, archery is pretty good in this game, even if you don't specialize in it, so... So this is definitely the first forge, because it's dark and he's meeting enemies that are slightly out of depth. I don't think he's going to do any smithing this game, but new players do often just like to mess around with it on the early floors to get the stuff that they feel they may not find. And it's kind of fun now, I mean, if you've never done it before. What is going on here? Yeah, the scout AI is different than like every other AI, so... There we go. Generally, you can just chase after them and they'll stop moving to shout once in a while, and then you can just punch them in the face. I don't know what other weapons he has, but I usually like to pick up a short sword, even if it's not gonna just for the first few floors, because when you get attacked by birds or bats, for example, they have super high evasion, and having the extra +1 from the short sword is a tiny bit help. Like, because your curved sword is -1, and the short sword's +0. Until I find like literally anything else that's +0, and then I'll just ditch it. Yeah, my biggest question mark so far is why he just totally ignored archery. It's a bit strange. So the thing is, I guess it's not clear. I think it's probably not clear to newer people, like people who are new to Angband variants in general. Like, never mind just this game. I think most other roguelikes, if you picked up a ranged weapon, like, he may be thinking that if you have a bow, you need to replace the sword in your hand to shoot the bow. I don't know. That could be it. Because I think in Crawl, you have a quiver slot that holds your ammo, and you can put like javelins and stuff in there, like throwing weapons. But if you want to shoot arrows, you put arrows in that slot, and then you have to hold your bow as your main weapon. But in Crawl, it's pretty easy to swap weapons too, so... Yeah, that's generally not a good exchange, actually. Just generally, I tend to prefer evasion over protection. Nice. I feel like I find those a lot, in general. Looks like he hasn't, he has the instinct that I have too, which is when something happens, hit escape to back out. But I don't think he's figured out that you can change your options so that hitting escape doesn't bring up that silly menu. No pun intended. So that's what I was talking about before. This is clearly a potion you don't want to drink. But it might be worth holding around just for ID purposes. As Fingolfin, your base will is pretty good, and as soon as you put a few points in, I don't know what you have to save against if you drink like a stat draining potion. Like, let's say he picks up a potion of disconnection, or what's the other one? Awkwardness, I think. I don't know how much will you would need to like guarantee that you're not going to get drained by it, but you'll always ID it even if you don't get drained by it. So here he gets to. There's a great little strategy you can use by forging horns now, where at the 50-foot, the 100-foot forge, you just make a horn of blasting and then just blast through the floor until you get to 950 feet, and then go to the throne room and die. So usually, whenever there's a Sil competition, I'll play a character right off the bat that does that to like sort of set the bar at you need to get to the throne room at least to have a shot at winning this competition, because it's scored based on death. Yeah, so this is like the least optimal way to fight soldiers. Yeah, the reason why they flank you like that at those weird diagonals is because the evasion penalty is more severe when they are at corners like that. Basically, there's a little. Maybe I'll draw a little map one day to show like, if a monster is standing here and another one's over here, here's what your evasion penalty is going to look like, because it's based on their position. Like when they're just two of them next to each other like that, I think you get like -1 or -2 for each of them. Whereas when they start pinning you, the penalty is much more severe. That's one thing. The thing I miss the most from playing Sil in this single terminal like this is I don't ever get to see combat rolls. I can't tell if he's thinking that the scouts, like if he's trying to make them come out and fight him, or if he's hoping they'll go away. But either is futile. You need to go after them. I think that's it for this floor. Yeah, this is not how you want to be fighting soldiers. He's kind of lucky he's not getting pancaked, actually. Nice. So there is... Oh, no. Ah, what are you doing? Yeah, he's got... Oh, does he have 2 special helms? Maybe not. I can't figure out what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to see if there's a way to ID it or something. I don't know if there is a cursed helm. I can't remember. Like a cursed ego for helms. I think there's one of terror, actually. That's the one. Where you can panic in combat if you get hit. But yeah, I think it would read tainted if it was actually that. Is he just not wearing his helm? It's like the #1 rule of being safe. Wear your helmet. Safety first. Oh, that's a good bow. Hopefully it's radio. I mean, there aren't... No, what are you doing? Pick it up. Okay, weird. I like those bows because you can just, like, annihilate molds with them. And if it was special, that thing was probably... I mean, if it's branded, amazing. I think you can get bows of Doriath, and I think that's it. I don't think there's a Bow of Gondolin. Maybe there is. But the Bow of Radiance is really handy, especially when you don't have light. Because you can shoot it to see what's coming ahead of you. So he may be cut off from the rest of the level here, which is, you know, yay chasms. I don't know if he's tried that, if he's tried this hall yet. Maybe he has. Or maybe he hasn't. Is that a battle axe? I'm not sure. Pretty much the best early game find, other than an artifact that you can get. Like, anything of Gondolin is good, but longswords are, for this kind of character, are really good. Also, I know I'm opening up the status menu there on the player. So if you're thinking it's going to end in that many frames, you're wrong, because this Termcast is split into like 6 different files or something, so you don't really know how long it is. Oh, actually, it is ending here. Derp. But he's just quitting for now. Alright, hang on, I just need to start the second one. Alright, here we go. I don't know why the Gondolin ego is orc control. It's kind of funny. Because I think the only thing I remember about Gondolin is, well, A, that it's a secret city, but the thing I always remember from that tale is that, what's that guy's name? Ecthelion or something? I think he even has an artifact in this game. He fought Gothmog and killed him by like throwing him in a fountain or something. So you would think it would be Balrog slain. And actually, I don't know why the Nargothrond ego is associated with killing demons. The dragon part, I think, makes sense. Although I don't remember why. Because didn't one of those dwarves, that Azaghal guy, didn't he stab Glaurung in the stomach? But I'm not sure if he... I'm starting to forget my Silmarillion. Which I suppose among the things I could be forgetting isn't the worst, but... Also, I've recently heard a rumor that they're going to make the Silmarillion into a movie, which I suspect they're just going to do the Children of Hurin storyline, but if it's like gods singing to create elves out of water or something, I'm not sure I'm going to go watch that. It should be pretty weird. Although I would like to see Fingolfin fight Morgoth. That's like the best part of that entire sequence, in my opinion. But so actually, he's doing pretty well. 250 feet. I'm pretty sure this was like the first. He just picked up the game and started playing. It's not like he died like 30 times before this and sent me the best one. Somebody is running like a private. I think it's private. Sil server, which is pretty cool because like when you play the game, it auto records these TTY arcs for you. So you can't help but record your stuff, and it has some other neato features that you can just like SSH in and get all this stuff for free. And then other people can watch you too, I think. Archers from across chasms are pretty awful, yeah. This is the worst. Yeah, so closing the door behind you there is a super good idea, except now this is bad. And the thing is, even going this way isn't really safe, because I'm pretty sure they're smart enough to split up and... Let's see if I'm right. Oh, this is bad. Okay. So if I'm right, I think he's going to find other orcs here. Because I think they're actually that smart. Well, the wolf at least. I wouldn't say he's smart, he's just impatient. and you took the shortest path or something. So the first thing I would do at this stage is, that's not a lot of experience, but it's a fair amount for this depth. So he may be able to buy a point of something with this. So I would just look to see if there's experience I can spend first. And I would put on that damn helmet, because, well, not now, but I would have put it on before. Just extra protection. Like, I would rather wear the helm and the leather armor that he dropped than this. Because you get an extra, die. And having guaranteed on, oh no. So this is the problem with not having colors. I don't know who is who. I guess all orcs are going to be gray, which is terrible. That's super annoying. But one of those guys is Gorgal. And see, yeah, they did kind of wrap around. This can be sort of, I think, shocking to new people when they play Sil. It's like, well, why didn't they just all follow me the same way? Like, they all have the same AI. But they don't. They're, well, yeah, they all have the same AI, but the pack AI is smart enough to try to pincer you when it can. So the bad thing about this situation is he can die in one hit, which he never really, or sorry, one turn. And actually, there's a pretty high chance of it happening. Wow, he had a push in Dex. That's pretty good. The other good thing he has going for him is that Gondolin weapon, if he kills a couple, like, their morale's going to shift the other way in a hurry. But this is getting, yeah. So this is something I don't even do very often, but you can sort of look at other monsters and see which ones have the lowest morale, and, like, pick on them. Which I guess is sort of a terrible thing to say, but hey, this is war. And that is like a little tactic you can use if you're trying to balance, like, which one should I hit. Most of the time, your gut will tell you to go for the ones with the lowest health, and that's often coincides with low morale anyways. But if you're just trying to get out, agitating the ones closest to you or who are lowest morale can help. Often the scores are close enough that it doesn't matter, but the thing is, if one starts fleeing, it affects the morale of the other ones, I think. As long as they're of the same type. If they have the same glyph, basically. So, pro tip. Leaping. I think it is currently the most underloved ability in the evasion tree. Although you don't see people doing heavy armor use anymore, really. Or controlled retreat. They used to be pretty popular. And Riposte, I don't think I ever see anybody buying it anyways, either. The thing with that one, though, is what's that weapon? That short sword of Galadriel is it's common enough that you get to use it just by finding that thing. So this is dangerous with archers about. Are those ones he's seen before or what? Nice. Okay, good. So what he did there was actually pretty smart, because I think if he had just gone straight and then tried to shimmy up, one of them would have squeaked down and trapped him. So whether it was intentional or not, he did the right thing. So this is sort of the good and bad thing of these Goblin weapons. When one of those boss guys or a captain or something comes down with a huge cohort, oftentimes it's something like you hit one for like half their health or something, and then everybody runs. They go and like regenerate the health that they got hurt, and then they come back and bother you, and then you hit one and you don't kill it, and then they run away. It's just like really back and forth. Whereas if you're using a normal weapon and you're even at this health rate, you can often get them to just charge you into the corridor and just wipe them all out in a line, provided you don't die, which, you know, super bad for you. But this kind of thing is super annoying. And he chose not to take a bow, and he doesn't seem to like throwing spears, which in the early game when you're trying to just like kill things before they get away, like using ranged weapons to finish off fleeing orcs is like something you need to do if you value your sanity at all. Wow, how did he do that? I didn't even know there was a way to look at your Hall of Fame without like quitting the game. Because it looked like he used a hotkey for that by accident. So I can't remember how this level was laid out, but he may have to... No, he's okay. Oh, no, yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to have to jump into a chasm. Which, after playing all those games with disconnected stairs, playing Sil with disconnected stairs is pretty similar to throwing yourself down a chasm every floor, except you don't start with lower HP. Whoa, whoa, go back and get that. That's what? No. That's like a shield of deflection with an extra evasion point and an extra protection side. Like, that is a crazy ass shield. And he's using a longsword, so it's just, what? I don't even. Oh my god. Is he gonna leave that shield behind? He's trying to find a way out. This is like, I would just reset the level, to be honest. Because I think he has an upstairs, doesn't he? So getting leaping to escape this floor is not the thing to do, I don't think. Like, you're not being forced to... Okay, please, pick that up. Come on. There we go. Good. Yep, that's amazing. That is super, super good. So I can't remember how he got down here, but I'm pretty sure it was stairs. So yeah, this... I guess you can do that. Sure. But yeah, for reference, if you're stuck with chasms and stuff and you have a way to leave the floor, even if it's going backwards, it's probably safer to reset the level and try to find a staircase down than it is to throw yourself down one of those things. Although if you're just impatient and want to get going, it's not the end of the world. So this is actually a very aggressive lore master timing, which is, I assume that's what he's doing. Yeah, he must not understand how archery works in this game. Also, I think he's still not wearing a helmet. That's Simulip, not a grotesque. You won't wear the helmet, but you'll wear the gloves. So those, I don't like wearing those because the trade-offs aren't worth it. Because I think you get 1 point of protection, but you lose a point of attack immediately, and it's just the trade-off there doesn't seem worth it to me. Like, single points of protection aren't... That one's good because it's a guaranteed point. It's a 1d1, but... I just don't see the point. Oh wow, he's getting wrecked. It always surprises me when those things hurt. Unless he walked into the shadow mold I didn't see. Get away. Okay, so a lot of times these guys don't actually notice you. So it's worth it to check. Just because they're in the room doesn't mean... Oh, he's hoping to heal or something. Yeah, this thing may not have noticed him, and you can just pass turns. And if you pass a turn, even if you're out in the open, your stealth bonus is actually pretty good. But, see, I think he could have gotten away with it by... If he'd spent one turn moving into the corner, and then just passed and passed and passed, he probably could have waited it out, and it would have just left. Because now this is not... He's got okay evasion, but this is not really a hit point level at which you want to fight trolls. Well, I guess if you were like an Edain or something, this would be the best you could do, so... So now he's just running it in circles to see if he can regenerate some HP, which is tedious, but it kind of works, I guess. So I wonder where the other trolls are. It's kind of weird that there's just one. Good. He may not have realized Gondolin, you know. And you get a lot of crits against trolls because their evasion is terrible. Oh, that's awful. Surprisingly though, it's not that hard to hit them when you swing in the dark like this. Typically now at this step, this is kind of weird, but when I get blinded like that, I like to walk backwards into an area where I'm pretty sure there aren't bad guys. Because one thing very specific that can happen here is I think around here Orc Warrior starts showing up. And if you're just sitting there like a putz when... wow, that one's a protection thing, I think. Yeah. This kind of turtle, I mean, this would work, I guess, but... nice. Okay, so one thing he did really well here is, usually I struggle to get Lore Mastered. Like, I'll wait till I have 10 points melee, 10 points evasion, or whatever. But he invested very little in both, and he's surviving. And now he's got Lore Master, and he won't have to worry about it. And that Helmet of True Sight is helpful, too, because you won't have to worry about... Oh, he's just keeping his Hauberk on. What happened? Oh, is it... What is happening? How come it asked him to step into the chasm? He was blind. I thought you were just supposed to fall in. Maybe he saw it before he got flashbanged. Okay, so anyways, this is kind of weird now. I'm not sure. But it's working. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. If you're just standing there, like, blinded in a hallway, resting and not moving, an Orc Warrior is going to get a charge off on you. Whereas if you're moving back, he's going to be trying to catch up with you while you're gaining your sight back. Unless, of course, he comes from the direction you originally came from, in which case you're going to get hit anyways. But well, I think he's hitting S on the walls to see if he can search. But until you just pass turns next to a wall and you get an auto perception check. Or even just... okay, so... Oh no, he's got crazy protection. Oh, that's a distended spider. Has he not even seen a sword spider yet? So it's those poisonous monsters that high protection guys have the hardest time from. Because all they have to do is get through your protection at all, and they'll hit you for full poison damage. Although I think the poison damage is relative to how much raw damage they do. I can't remember anymore. But it can be kind of shocking to have all this armor on and, you know, get tapped by a distended spider and all of a sudden have 20 hit points of poison to deal with. Yeah, so if you're fighting unintelligent monsters like this, like, it is never advantageous to do what he's doing here. I would pull back into the corridor and fight them. Yeah, I think the centipedes are smart enough to kind of like bump around to try to come find you, but the spider's certainly not. Whoa, where the heck did he come from? Yeah, and so that's where having a bow or throwing weapons at it is really handy, because they have like those distended spiders have a lot of hit points, but you do crazy damage against them when you throw or shoot. So, and chasing after them into unknown rooms is a recipe for disaster. I love these little guys. It takes forever to kill them, but I'm not sure if I can't remember. Okay, so that it whispers of decay or whatever means there's a grave wight in here, and he can slow you from distance. So because you can't tell where it is, you don't know if it has line of sight to you or not. But apparently, yeah. Okay, so here it comes, and I'm sure he doesn't know this, but they hit to drain strength. There we go. Yeah, he lost some strength. Yeah, it's not obvious when you fight these things that they work a little bit like spiders. Like you can try to lose line of sight of them and they'll just stop bothering you. So especially when they slow you like this, it's better, I think, to try to wow. It's better to get out of the way than it is to try to fight them. Very lucky. But that could have easily just been the thing, taking a step towards him and punching him. So, because remember, he's slow right now, so it's unsafe for him even to try to escape. So it's unfortunate. I think he doesn't realize that he can just move. Oh, what was that? He knew what that was. He just locked himself in the room. Ah, why are you fighting it? Very lucky. This is ridiculous. I guess. Oh no. So it's helpful that he has all this metal on him. But yeah, this is not great. And actually, if he gets drained much more, he's wearing this heavy ass armor. He's probably going to be permanently slow because he's going to be burdened. And he has 900. Oh, he died. Okay. Okay, so here's what not to do, I guess. So let's pause. I didn't realize he died in this part. I would have probably skipped ahead otherwise. Because it looks like he's going to go and play another character now. So we can just follow him through this. This can be a warm-up. But not too bad, actually. For a first playthrough of a game that you're not super familiar with, that's pretty handy. And getting to 350 is nothing to scoff at. I think if I see anything in the next game, it would be I hope he uses ranged stuff more. Because in Sil, the more you can soften people up or kill them when they run away, the happier you'll be. But yeah, pretty good. Let's see what he does next game. I think we'll follow this through because I've got a few more from him, and I don't have a few more from anyone else, and I don't want to play anymore. So we'll keep going with this. So I'll catch you guys next time, and we'll start this new character here.